Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. Check the pulse of Husker Nation, brought to you by Nebraska Spine Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, good folks of Husker Nation, it's another workout day here on the Carriker Chronicles. Now, today's show is about how I would improve the college football playoff. Now, Tom Shuttel, guy's been doing it for 30 years. I could at least say his name right. Tom Shuttel wrote an article about a 12-team playoff. Now, we all know it's coming. The question is it sooner rather than later? But a 12-team playoff is coming one day. And he talked about how he's excited about it, the pluses, the minus. Check out his article. I'm going to reference some of the things from his article here. But if you want to read the whole thing, go check it out. Now, the current college football playoff format actually worked this year. They got a little bit lucky. There was really 4 teams that deserved to be in for 4 slots. It's about the only year where I can really think that that's happened, and there hasn't been an insane amount of drama. They got a little bit lucky this year. But the impending, upcoming 12-team playoff, okay, it excites me. There are things that I like about it, but I look at it, and I'm like, there are some things that I think could even be improved about that. And I know it's coming, and I know what I'm proposing probably won't ever happen. But I'd like to keep the importance of bowl games as much as we possibly can. It's something that makes college football unique from every other sport. How do we make, at least in my scenario, 5 bowl games matter? I got 5 bowl games because it's going to be 5 major bowl games in my scenario. And then you take the top 4 teams after the major bowl games have been played. So at least you keep the relevance of some of the bowl games versus 2 right now. None of the other ones matter outside of the 2. Now, admittedly, this is kind of a for fun thing. I didn't spend a ton of time on this. I have thought about this ever since I was a little kid. Every year when this time of year rolls around, because college football ain't had a great way of finding a national champion ever. Every year I've thought about this. So this has something that's been on my mind for years, but I haven't spent a ton of time on this year after year. It's kind of a for fun thing. Maybe at some point in the future, I'll sit down and I'll map out what I think the perfect playoff scenario, playoff situation would be. Maybe I don't need to. Maybe this is it right here, right now, what I'm proposing. Maybe I'm cuckoo crazy. Who knows? But one of the things I would fix if I were to sit down and address this entire thing as a whole at some point in the future is how we rank teams. The College Football Playoff Committee has too much power. There's not enough people in that room, and they hold too much power. You got to disperse it more, but that's a show topic for another day. So let's go. Let's talk about a 12-team playoff and how it would look based on the rankings as they are right here, right now. This season. Tom Shuttel lays it out. Okay, the top 4 teams would get a bye. Teams 5 through 12 would play each other with the higher seed, the higher rated team hosting the lower rated team or the lower rated seed on their home field, which would be fun. The top 4 teams getting a bye are Alabama, Michigan, Georgia, Cincinnati. First round looks like this. Number 5, Notre Dame hosts number 12, Pittsburgh. Number 6, Ohio State hosts number 11, Utah. Number 7, Baylor hosts number 10, Michigan State. Number 8, Mississippi, good old Miss, host number 9, Baylor. The second round matchups would be played in the bowl games, according to how Mr. Shuttel has it laid out here. So the second round would be like this. The Oklahoma State Ole Miss winner would play Alabama. Now that's a potential SEC matchup right there. Maybe you like that, maybe you don't. Okay, Michigan State Baylor winner playing Michigan. A potential Big Ten rematch. Are you a fan of rematches? I'd personally like to avoid rematches. I like to preserve the importance of the regular season. I want to make bowl games matter as much as possible again. You can only do so much. I want to preserve the importance of the regular season. And I want to find a true national champion without letting teams get in that really shouldn't be in. Certain teams that shouldn't be in, that shouldn't have a shot at the national championship, to me are 3 lost teams that don't have a conference championship. I'll address that in a minute. Okay. Some other potential second round matchups or how it would look would be the Utah-Ohio State winner versus Georgia and the Pittsburgh-Notre Dame winner versus Cincinnati. Yeah, you could have another possible rematch, Cincinnati versus Notre Dame. So that's how the first round and the second round would work, and then obviously whoever wins, the higher rated seed would host the lower rated seed until you have a national champion there. Now, every team in that scenario would play at least 3 additional games. So you're playing at least 16 games. If you don't have a bye and you make it all the way to national championship, you're playing 17 games. So keep that in mind. So here's what I propose. Again, this is for fun. Kicks and grins. If people think this is a kind of good idea, maybe it catches traction, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Let's see what you find folks at home think. So Again, I mentioned it. We'd have 5 major bowl games. I think 6 is too many right now. It devalues, it waters down the major bowl games. I think 5 makes it harder to get in, makes it higher ranked teams versus higher ranked teams rather than dispersing them out. So 5 major bowl games. The Rose Bowl, old school. Big Ten champ versus Pac-12 champ. Fiesta Bowl. Remember Rose Bowl was Pac-12 versus Big Ten. Want to make sure I didn't say Big 12. Pac-12 versus Big Ten champ. Fiesta Bowl is the Big 12 champ. Remember when it went for a long amount of time, but remember when the Big 12 champ used to always go to the Fiesta Bowl, at least for a few years there? Now, you could have them go to the Cotton Bowl. Currently, if they don't go to the College Football Playoff, the Big 12 champ plays the SEC champ in the Sugar Bowl. You could do that as well. I like dispersing it out amongst the bowl games a little bit more. So anyways, the Big 12 champ goes to the Fiesta Bowl, and they're going to play an at-large team. The SEC champ goes to Sugar Bowl, they're going to play an at-large team. The ACC champ goes to the Orange Bowl, they're going to play an at-large team. The Cotton Bowl, okay, if you don't put the Big 12 champ there, it's the 2 remaining teams that create the best matchup. So how would that work this year? And let me reiterate how. So there's 10 teams that are going to get in. Okay, that's 2 less than 12. You're less likely, okay, to get those 3 lost non-conference champions in. All right, so here's how you get in. 6 automatic bids, 5 power conference champions, as I just laid out, and the highest rated group of 5 conference champions. So those teams this year would be Michigan, Utah, Baylor, Alabama, and Cincinnati. The next 4 teams, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, it's the next 4 highest rated teams in the country. It's purely based on rankings, which is why how we rank teams is so important. So the matchups this year would be in the Rose Bowl. Big Ten champ Michigan versus Pac-12 champ Utah. The Fiesta Bowl, Big 12 champ Baylor versus an at-large team. I'll get to that in a minute. Number 1 Alabama, SEC champ in the Sugar Bowl versus an at-large team. Pittsburgh, the number 12 team in the country, ACC champ versus an at-large team. Okay, so how do we decide which at-large team plays which conference champ? The way I look at it is I look the highest rated conference champ, I'm going to pit them against the highest rated available team, the at-large teams and the group of 5 team. Alabama is number 1. So they're going to play the highest rated team available. They could play Georgia. But again, I'm trying to avoid rematches, and in bowl games, you typically don't have rematches and or teams from the same conference play each other. It's part of the reason why I like bowl games versus the 12-team college football playoff, where you could have rematches, you could have SEC teams playing each other, and eventually you could get to that because we're going to take the top 4 teams after these 5 major bowl games. You could get that there, but it's much less likely with only 4 teams versus 12. You can get that in the current format we have with the 4-team college football playoff the way it is right now. So number 1 Alabama is going to play the highest rated team available. That's going to be a good matchup, which is number 4 Cincinnati. I realize we have that matchup right now, but these other matchups, we aren't getting in the current college football playoff the way it's formatted. Number 7 Baylor is the next highest rated conference champ with an available slot in their bowl game. They're going to play the highest rated team that's available, the at-large teams, and that is number 3 Georgia in the Fiesta Bowl. You look at number 12 Pittsburgh, the ACC champ. They're on the other end. They're like the lowest rated team in all these bowl games. So I'm going to pit them with the lowest rated at-large team that's available, which is number 8 Ole Miss. So the Cotton Bowl gets the 2 remaining teams. Number 5 Notre Dame versus number 6 Ohio State. Pretty good matchup, right? Now, as far as guesstimating who's going to win these games, part of this is the chaos that's going to happen. That's part of the fun of this. The bedlam, if you will, so to speak, to steal a term from Oklahoma State, which was a fun game this year. Utah could beat Michigan. Baylor could beat Georgia. Cincinnati, Alabama could win. Pittsburgh, Ole Miss. Doesn't really affect the national title picture. Notre Dame, Ohio State. Who knows? So this is my guesstimation as to what will happen. Number 1, Alabama wins. Number 2, Michigan. Those are your top 2 seeds. Okay? If that happens. Utah could easily beat Michigan. They're playing really well. I do have a little bit of chaos here with Baylor over Georgia. That's your number 3 team. Baylor beats number 3 Georgia. They're now the number 3 seed in the 14 playoff after these 5 major bowl games. Notre Dame gets their major win that they've been missing this year. Beat Ohio State in the Fiesta Bowl. Maybe Ohio State wins, they're in. Okay? But if Notre Dame wins, they're the number 4 seed. So number 1, host number 4 on their college campus. Number 1, Alabama is going to host number 4 Notre Dame. Number 2, Michigan is going to host number 3 Baylor. That's fun. You got major bowl game champions playing each other. And in Michigan, Baylor, you got the Big Ten champ, the Rose Bowl champ versus the Big 12 champ and the Fiesta Bowl champ. So 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3. And talking about amount of games. Okay, you're going to, if it's under this format, you're going to have a bowl game and 2 playoff games. You make it all the way to national championship games. So you will in no way, shape, or form ever play more than 16 games for those who are concerned about too many games. Okay, in the 12-team playoff, some of the teams could play up to 17 games, as I pointed out earlier. Now, Who knows who wins? But I'm going to go with number 1 Alabama versus number 2 Michigan. I realize that could happen this year, but in this scenario, you're much more likely to have chaos. So who knows what could happen? Now, here's why I like this better. Okay, first of all, the top 5 bowl games actually mean something. Right now, only 2 games matter. This gives us 5, and I miss the bowl games actually meaning something. The New Year's 6 bowl games, nobody cares except for the two playoff games. You're less likely to have rematches. This preserves the importance of the regular season. You're less likely to have teams from the same conference playing each other. It can still happen after the 5 major bowl games with the top 4 teams being taken after those major bowl games are played, but it's much less likely. It preserves the importance of the regular season much, much more. Okay, I want to preserve the importance of the bowl games or bring it back. I want to preserve the importance of the regular season. I want to find a true national champion. And the other reason I like this is you're less likely to have 3-loss non-conference champs get in, okay? Because you're only giving 10 teams a shot. The 6 conference champs, the 4 highest rated teams remaining. You go beyond 10 and you start to give 3-loss non-conference champions an opportunity. And to me, I'm not a fan of that. I'm just not, okay? You look at this year, or you look at a year ago, I'm sorry. A 3-loss Iowa State team would have gotten in. Okay, into a 12-team playoff. You look at 2019, a 3-loss Wisconsin and Auburn team with no conference championships would have gotten in. In 2018, Florida, LSU, and Penn State, 3-loss teams with no conference championship would have gotten into the college football playoff. Okay, this year, whether you like it or not, number 9 and 10 in the country wouldn't get into my 5 major bowl games because number 11 Utah is a Pac-12 champ and number 12 Pitt is an ACC champ. You got to be automatically rated in the top 10 or a conference champ to get into my scenario, and then it's the top 4 teams afterwards. Now, let me know your thoughts. Hit me up in the comments below. Again, this was just for fun. I didn't spend a ton of time with it, but this is why I kind of prefer. The 12-team playoff is coming. I'm excited about it. I think it's a good thing. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. But this is just me having fun, trying to make it even better. Hit me up in the comments below. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Watch all the shows on YouTube, omaha.com/Carriker. Until next time, Husker Nation, go Big Red, and always remember, throw the bones. Thanks again to our sponsor, Nebraska Spine Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, when it's your spine, you do not want to mess around, and experience matters. That's why you can trust the experts at Nebraska Spine Hospital, the region's only spine-specific hospital. They are the best at what they do.